This is the Yanks Go Yard podcast with Adam Weinrib and Thomas Carinante.
Welcome on into the Yanks Go Yard podcast. I'm Adam Weinrib alongside Thomas Carinante. The Yankees are live right now, and so are we. Wrapping up the Rays series, which the Yankees won. They like to win series these days. The bullpen barely survived to the finish line, staggering like Kramer, running in that walk after staying up all night with his boys, smoking cigars. But guess what? They do win the baseball game. They won Sunday, they won Friday in a Juan Soto instant classic. And there's a reason why our comment section right now is saying Judge needs to be stripped of his captain title and have it given to Juan Soto. Not going to happen, but Juan Soto has certainly energized this team, this lineup, and this fan base. Brian Cashman compared it to Wade Boggs showing up in 1993 over the weekend. You know what the best part of that was? Wade Boggs played more seasons with the Yankees than just 1993. That feels notable. I don't think you bring in a culture changer like Juan Soto and say, he's completely changed our lineup, and we wish him well in his future elsewhere next year. So we'll talk all about that. We'll recap the Rays series, who stood out for good and bad reasons, what were the moments you were most nervous, and what were the weirdest portions of the series. Plus, how do you watch the Knicks and Rangers at the same time as the New York Yankees when they're playing playoff games at the same time as a crucial AL East series? Not easy. How does anybody juggle this? How does Boston do it? Can we get a Boston person on the pod? Yankees at close to a Boston weekend, went 4-1 in Yankees games, NFL, NBA, and NHL playoffs. Boston went 5-0 somehow. God damn it. These people just continue to do this all the time. Also, I guess we got to talk about the Aaron Boone ejection that just happened, because an already absurd moment from the start of today's game against Oakland, an ump show unlike any other ump show in the Carlos Rodon performance against the Oakland A's. But thank you for joining us live 2 o'clock every Monday and every Thursday. Thanks for joining us on a podcast platform. If you do afterwards, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Thomas Carinante, thank you for joining. You've got an offer, and then let's talk Yankees.
Sure do. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. DraftKings is here. Fantastic sign-up bonus on the way for new users. New customers can place a $5 bet on any sport to instantly claim $200 in bonus bets. All you have to do is sign up with our code Yanks Go Yard. Name of the podcast, name of the website, name of your favorite Yankees content creators. Pretty easy. You will also receive one no sweat single game parlay every single day. The best part is you will get both rewards even if your first bet loses. Using our code Yanks Go Yard not only gets you these bonuses, but also directly supports the podcast, the website, Adam and Thomas, your best friends. So keep it coming. If you've been considering signing up for DraftKings, or you got some friends interested, make sure to forward it over to them. Make sure they use the code Yanks Go Yard to maximize those first bets. This offer is only available to new customers who are 21 and older and physically present in legal gambling states. Please remember to always gamble responsibly. Check the episode descriptions for full terms of the offer to see if you qualify. Ridiculous ejection in this game. Let's just start that off because we're live and the game's live.
Yeah.
We were watching that live, and I'm surprised they let the hot mics on for as long as they did on the Yes Network. My God.
Hunter Wendelstedt starting it off, like before we even get an SFW on Aaron Boone's, like they let the umpire scream into a megaphone to start this one.
Yeah.
I don't know where that mic was. I don't know why we've never heard that before, but Wendelstedt turned to the dugout and saying, I did my job. I did my job. I asked, I do my job. Like he's already starting off at an interest at kind of a 9 out of 10. And so you're like, all right, we're going to see some fireworks today. Boone's getting ejected before this game is over, especially if the Yankees can't hit JP Sears. Like we're not going to see Boone for all 9 innings, but then Boone doesn't do anything and he gets tossed. It's an all-time toddler adult man moment. Hunter Wendelstedt's been doing this for way too long to be that reactive. And it makes you think, okay, well, I guess this guy hates Aaron Boone, in which case, why do we have umpires who hate specific managers again? Aren't we supposed to be training implicit and explicit bias out of the game? I don't know.
Well, he has the most ejections of anybody since he took over as manager, right?
Well, today, currently rivaling Boone for most ejections is Fan in Blue Top, because now we've got one random guy who's on the leaderboard with 1 ejection.
I wonder what he said. He's got to be interviewed after the game. They got to catch him.
Well, for those who didn't watch it, Boone got ejected after being told don't say anything. Don't say anything else. I'm giving you a warning. And Boone was like, you're good. I won't say anything else. He gives him a thumbs up. And then he didn't say anything else, but some fan said something and the cameras spotted him. And He took he got it. Hunter Wendell said, I don't care when Boone said that wasn't me. He said, I don't care. You're out. It wasn't anyone in the dugout. It wasn't anyone affiliated with the team. It was a man in a blue pullover who then immediately changed into a white T-shirt to, I guess, as if cameras don't have memory from 10 minutes ago. Like he's going to easily be able to,
Imagine Boone challenge that. Throws the challenge flag.
The Yes Network. I mean, imagine Boone challenges it, and they're like, "We reviewed the tape, and there's actually no fan wearing a blue. There's only a fan wearing a white T-shirt." Come on, look at his face. You kidding? No, sorry. There's that fan doesn't exist. The guy you described is not real. But yeah, a fan got Aaron Boone ejected from this game, and the Yankees can't hit. The Yankees are facing Yankees can't hit lefties this year. They're 500 against lefties, and much better than that against righty starters. So they were already pretty doomed from the start of this one to a tight game.
And it's a former Yankee. What do you expect?
Former Yankee and the only good one who they've traded away. Ken Waldichuk, not so much. Luis Medina, not so much. Hayden Wesneski. I don't know. I don't need 3 innings out of the bullpen every couple of months. But JP Sears has been legit good, and he's looked very good so far today. So whether they're going to win or lose, they were always doomed to a low-scoring game. But that means the game's going to be tight, and that means, I guess, manager Brad Ausmus is going to factor into this one somehow.
He used to manage.
I can't imagine a scenario where he's just like so dumb that he tosses this game directly in a trash can where Aaron Boone would not have. But I guess we'll see. We're a couple innings away from finding out.
We sure are. Nonetheless, absolutely ridiculous. Please head on over to yanksgoyard.com. Check that article out. Funny moment. Boone's cursing a lot. Then I don't know who was producing on the live
genius
broadcast of Yes, but they let this one go much longer. And usually we get these NSFW hot mics on like the MLB TV stream.
Yeah.
Isn't that where like John Boy gets all of it? It's not the local broadcast, or I don't know what the location is for it or the destination is for it, but usually don't hear this on TV, and it's acquired through another feed, and this was live TV, and usually never hear, especially moments that drag on for that long. But yeah, once the ump started yelling at Aaron Boone, kind of what was right after a pitch, they should have known at that point. Just we'll turn this one off because we don't know what's going to happen. But crazy, we didn't hear what the fan said, and he was about 5 feet from Aaron Boone, so yeah. If you're going to have the hot mics, have them all over the dugout so we can get all the action possible.
I think it was Hunter Wendelstadt's dad. I think it's got to be a relative being like, son, you beefed it. Like, I don't know why else he would react in that manner, but he's still patrolling the field. They let him keep playing, so Boone should probably – that must have been awful for Boone, though, to realize that whatever he tried – like, he's in the right? He didn't say that. He comes out on the field and is like, I did not say that. I didn't say that. And it's not going to work. Like, to just realize that's not going to work and to be yelling fruitlessly knowing that you're not going to get the relief here. Like, you've got one bullet in your chamber. The bullet is, I literally did not do what you said I did, and yet there's no way the ump is going to put the toothpaste back in the tube and be like, You know what? I'm sorry. So to be out there, like, there's no hope, and yet he tried. And then he went nuts. And after he knew the umpire wasn't going to put him back in the game, then he started dropping F-bombs and bullshits, and it felt good.
Yeah, and Boone should have been yelling at his boy, John Tumpane, at the first base ump, who didn't call the check swing, which is where this issue stemmed from, because Asterio Ruiz checked his swing when he got hit in the foot, and Tumpane was the umpire that Boone – God, what game was that?
Wasn't John Tumpane the guy who he did the K call on?
No, that was what's his name? The chat knows who he is.
The chat probably will know who he is.
The chat knows who he is. That was it was the CB Buckner. And
Tumpane
was he Savages in the box?
No, okay, so that was Brennan Miller. That was a young umpire.
Brennan Miller was Savages in the box.
Okay. Haven't seen that guy in a while, but he yelled at Tumpane in a 2020 game in an empty stadium, and somehow that wasn't even as loud as what we just heard today. But it was a bad low strike to Judge in one of those awful games they lost to the Marlins at the end of that year. And he was the one who yelled, just because you kicked the first one, don't keep kicking it.
Yeah.
Those pitches are not effing strikes. They're not. They never are. And they never are to Aaron Judge. But Tom Payne got him a few times in a game they lost 4-3 in extras to the Marlins. I believe DJ LeMahieu grounded into a bases loaded double play to end that game, and I believe that the Yankees, I think that was the night that the Marlins clinched a playoff berth in 2020. That was a weird year. That team wasn't very good.
That was a weird year. But yeah, I mean, this game is shaping up to be what this friggin' weekend looked like. I know the Yankees took the series. We're certainly happy about that, but damn, you lose the John Sterling game after you get a gem from Nestor Cortez.
You sure do lose it. That's a real disheartening loss.
Well, we knew that was happening, so please. There's no sense in even getting mad about it. We telegraphed this on Monday when his retirement was announced, and they said they'd be honoring him on Saturday. A vintage Yankees game to lose. They nearly blow Friday after Juan Soto's one of the most epic home runs in recent memory in that 7th or 8th inning. Forgot which it was.
Bottom of the 7th.
Bottom of the 7th. And then Sunday, also not a pretty game, even though they escape. But, like, what is – again, happy the team is winning. Just need it cleaned up a little bit. Need it cleaned up.
We're at the point in the season where it feels as if – and look, it's the end of April, but we've got 3+ weeks of data. It feels like every Yankee game, no matter what the score is, at any point, is going to end up in a one-run affair. Like, it's not true, but it's the vibe you get. They go up 5-1 in the 7th, bottom of the 7th. They're down 1-0 entering the 7th, and they flip it on its head. And Soto hits that 3-run homer, and you're like, okay, this is like, obviously 4-run lead is not insurmountable, but the way they just snatched the momentum back and took Tampa's souls, they're handing it to Hamilton and Holmes. This one is now over. We have taken this game. We flipped it on its head. It's done. And then in a matter of seconds, it's 5-3. It doesn't even, like, you don't even get to settle down. It's like, okay. Well, the first two guys reached and they both got knocked in. Great. Now we're in for another one of these. And first two batters reach against Holmes in the 9th. Pop fly to center. Nobody catches. And they get a force out. And then a crazy line drive double play. But they escape that one by the skin of their teeth. Sunday's game, Holmes is unavailable because they use him in the John Sterling game. Getting shut out at home sucks. Getting shut out at home in extra innings really sucks, and they do, of course. They use Holmes 2 days in a row. They're not using him on Sunday. The focus of this recap is just the bullpen is gassed because no matter where you start, it feels like you end up here. And they're up 5-1 again after an amazing 2-out rally with, single after single after single in the middle of that game. Luke Weaver drops a feed from Anthony Rizzo. The bases are loaded in the 6th with 2 outs. They escape that. 7th goes down easy. And you're like, okay, I mean, again, 5-1. That lead's been blown before. Could get blown again, but they've erased 2 innings. They got out of a big jam. It feels like they're going to be able to get to the finish line here. 2 outs in the 8th. Still 5-1. And then in a matter of seconds, it's 5-4. You stop looking for 1 minute. I take the dog outside, and it's 5-4. Like, it's unbelievable. And so they win this game because Harold Ramirez decides to slide into first base, feet first, for whatever reason. Good for him. It might have. Victor Gonzalez makes an incredible play, kicking the ball to himself, slowing down, diving towards first base, throwing the ball. Electric, Wandy Peralta style. We all love it. But Harold Ramirez saves that game by sliding instead of running through the bag. It's probably first and second, 2 outs. And the Rays, Harold Ramirez, they're lucky he didn't homer because he has the highest average against lefties in all of baseball since the start of the 2022 season. It was just an absolute nail-biter on Sunday after an absolute nail-biter on Friday after, let's call it a 0-0 in extras as a nail-biter on Saturday, too. Yeah. They have to keep using these bullpen arms, and only Holmes and Victor Gonzalez, to an extent, look good. Loaizaga, not going to see him. Scott Efros had some hiccups, reportedly. Interesting. Tommy Kahnle, haven't heard from him in forever. Lou Trevino is apparently ahead of Efros. Ian Hamilton looked awful again on Friday. He's got to be working through something. No one wanted to ask about that yesterday. I would have loved for somebody to ask him, where's Ian Hamilton? Is he down for the day? Okay, why is he down for the day? I didn't hear a single quote about that. And you know whose impact is going to be felt even harder than losing Loaizaga? Nick Birdie. Because he was your best strikeout reliever, and he's got hip inflammation. He was always bound to come down with something, and it happened on Friday. Now, all of a sudden, we have Dennis Santana in crunch time because the Yankees have 1.25 reliable relievers to use right now. Victor Gonzalez might be moving up that trust tree ahead of Hamilton, who's, again, probably battling through something. You know who's the bottom of that trust tree? Caleb Ferguson. Stop using him. Yeah. Stop using him in extra innings.
Well, yeah, that's not his role. I was looking up the stats because people are getting pissed and rightfully. Look, it's the Yankees are winning, right? But what's happening again? It's bad defense. It's taxing the bullpen. It's offense going silent for far too long. Don't need runs every single inning, but don't need all the runs coming in one inning and then complete irrelevance for the remainder of the game. And then you have the bullpen usage. Look, Aaron Boone's hands are tied. We've been critical of Booney plenty times before, but the way this bullpen was constructed, an issue from the front office's perspective, the way that the injuries have once again plateaued. I don't know who we're going to blame for that. As Brian Cashman said, injuries suck. They suck.
I'm not blaming Nick Birdie. Nick Birdie's hurt all the time. I can't blame anybody for Nick Birdie getting hurt, but he was really the only standout strikeout guy they had left, and he comes down with an injury he hasn't had before. He's had shoulder, he's had elbow, he's had everything, and now he's got the hip.
Well, I mean, you even look at Hamilton. Something's wrong with Hamilton, I think.
Something's wrong with Hamilton.
And he got hurt last year, and I don't know what the issue is. But nonetheless, Caleb Ferguson has been thrusted into these situations, and this is not the kind of pitcher he is. He is more of a guy who comes in maybe 5th, 6th, 7th to eat an inning, take over for multi-inning relief if need be. Yeah. He's had one good year as a high-leverage reliever. That was last year with the Dodgers. Otherwise, he's mostly been fine or rarely used. Look, 29 games in 2018, 46 games in 2019, 21 games in 2020, did not play in 2021 because of an injury, 37 games in 2022, 68 games last year. So really last year was his full slate of action. He did do well in higher leverage situations, but for the most part in his career, this is not the pitcher he is, and the Yankees can't be basing the sample size of his career off of how he performed in 2023. I don't think they're doing that right now. I just think that they're low on guys, and they need players to come back, and I don't know if they have their lefty reliever of choice in the bullpen right now. That might be a trade deadline thing. But yeah, there's limited options at this point. And Caleb Ferguson is being put in an unfair situation. At the very least, I guess that he's getting the experience now, so his repertoire can be built for the remainder of the year, so he's not feeling like it's a foreign situation to him. But yeah, there's a lot of issues here. And I was liking how Dennis Santana was performing. To me, he was a little bit of a breath of fresh air. He kind of takes control on the mound. I understand the 3 earned runs on yesterday were not good, but all these guys are not going to be unhittable. And like you said, this bullpen has a strikeout problem. There's not enough guys that are missing bats, and that's gonna be major moving forward if they don't figure that out, because the strength of this bullpen historically has been, avoiding hard contact and really contact at all. And in the later games, the Yankees have proven that they can't really sustain that because the defense, once again, can't get the job done for a good portion of the weekend. I'll give a hot take here. Why is Anthony Rizzo tossing that ball to Luke Weaver? Why? The batter wasn't running out of the box. Just walk to first base and step on the bag. It's nobody's heads in the game. You have Luis Seal throwing the ball into center field. It's not clean. None of it's clean. So you can't be relying on this team to make the sound fundamental plays late in the game when the bullpen is constantly putting the ball in play.
Luis Seal was fantastic yesterday. He gave up a run. He also gave up a run all by himself. He threw a ball into center field for no apparent reason and then paid attention to that runner when he put him on third and balked him home. They win by 1. It could have been devastating. You look back on the game, let's say they lose by 1. Let's say Victor Gonzalez blows up or Ramirez takes him deep and they lose a 1-run game. They gave away a run. And not even in they made an error and things snowballed from their way, which is annoying in its own right. But they literally, that run had no business scoring. And you don't even need to pay attention to the runner on third. He's not stealing home. Guess what? If he steals home, you go ahead and take a step back and applaud him. Because, okay, great, you got me. Whatever. Like Jose Caballero steals home. Okay, I guess we have to live with that. That's insane. But he's not doing that. So don't pay attention to him on third. Just focus on the batter, and Heel gave a run away. They go ahead and win the game anyway. The bullpen, to me, is the story of this weekend, and it should be the Soto home run from Friday night, which was clearly the moment that we were all happiest. And I hope that, that's definitely the moment I'll never forget. And then the Victor Gonzalez play being number 2 and my just thanking God above that when he spiked to the ground, he did it with his right arm and not his left. So the moment I was happiest was either that home run or the John Sterling ceremony itself, which outside of the giant TV that he probably didn't ask for, was very emotional. I haven't seen the stands that full for a pregame ceremony in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I've been angry at Yankee fans every time we've had a big ceremony since they opened the new ballpark. The old timers days aren't the same. People aren't showing up for these. When they tell fans to get in their seats by 12:30, they're like, yeah, whatever. They're standing in the Bud Light Lounge or whatever. The stadium has not quite been the same for these big time honorifics, and they were great for the Sterling ceremony. But then again, of course, they go ahead and don't score any runs for Sterling. And this is a pattern. This is not new. It goes back to Mariano Rivera Day. In 2013, Andy Pettitte was on the mound. He was throwing a no-hitter late, and it got broken up by, I will never forget, an Ehire Adrianza home run. Goes ahead and takes that win for the Giants. Jeter Day in 2017, the Astros destroy them. Jeter Day in 2022, I believe, was the day that Aaron Hicks stopped following that ball that was fair.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep, that's all they do. It's just again and again and again. These ceremonies, they fall flat. And also, I'm just going to address the allegations in the comments. People saying I can't actually tell what the allegations are, that I'm bad at softball or bad at baseball, because I actually obviously was not very good at baseball, but I played varsity. Softball, I'm fine. I kick ass in softball. I played varsity baseball.
I'm a pitcher.
They put me in when our team's up 20. Who am I? Brian, what was that guy's name in the Yankees put that pitcher in to play first base in extra innings?
What?
Remember when the Yankees put Brian Mitchell in to play first base in extra innings and Jorge Posada at second base? You guys are acting like I'm Jorge Posada playing second? Come on. I'm competent. I can hack it. But let's pass it on to you to talk. What's the moment that you're happiest? Your uncle would definitely say that rally full of singles yesterday, but I don't know where you're at.
Yeah, no, the Verdugo single. I mean, we were going to lose that game. It was it was another one of those times where you're getting traffic on the bases, or it's one of two things with the Yankees, right? It's down in order, or it's traffic on the bases and not doing anything. And then in the fifth inning, they finally get the traffic on the bases. Alex Verdugo has 2 outs, drills one into right field, gets 2 runs home. At that point, it very much felt like the Yankees were going to win. If they did not score that inning, the numbers would have said, obviously, they would have lost the game. But even without the Rays having that 3-run eighth, they still would have lost the game. Because if they're not getting a hit in that situation, they're just not getting they're not getting a clutch hit for the remainder of the time. But also, actually, when I was happiest was, I didn't think, and I don't know if I was just ill-informed or I was not paying attention, but I had no idea John Sterling was going to be in the booth for a couple innings on Saturday. And when I turned on the game, I was cleaning my apartment, watching it, and I just heard him pop in, and I was like, holy shit. So I just cranked up the volume. I listened to him talk, and it was really great. It was nice to see him and hear him kind of discuss everything and talk about a lot of the players that he's liked over the years and that he's had a pleasure of speaking with and interacting with. So that was the feel-good moment for sure.
Yeah, he also declined to do any commentary in the booth. Kay asked him, and apparently they asked him on the radio too. Big of him, he's just clearly ready to take his foot off the gas, and that is totally fine. He's in his mid-80s. You are allowed to do that. I just hope all's well. And you know that the Yankees are going to do another John Sterling Day next year to sell more tickets and put him in Monument Park. You just know, because the criticism was these gifts are a little chintzy, and they were. I mean, jersey with his name on the back and the number of games he called. Sure. Did they even pay the extra to customize it with the Star Insurance patch? I didn't check. Plaque. That silver mic that kind of.
I didn't even watch it. Didn't even see, but I could have told you.
Yeah, they gave him a little silver mic that looked like it came from Trophies R Us. It might as well have been a little gold golfer made of plastic. Then they gave him a gigantic TV, but he said he already had 6 TVs. So I don't know. It's not easy to find room for an 83-inch TV in your house. I don't think we needed that in the box either. I don't think Sterling was going to be like, is that an LG OLED? Oh, it is. Great. So everybody made fun of that, and they were right to do so. But you know what? They're going to welcome him back for a Monument Park. It'll be probably next year. You got to assume, because that's just how they work. Moment you were most nervous? I mean, it's crazy because I was nervous for way too long in his 3-game series in which they won 2 games and come out of it smelling pretty okay with a 15-7 record. Like, that's ultimate. That's fine. But Very funny that they were 12-7 last year. I got to admit that's a good bit, but 15-7 is superior to 12-7. So I will forget. They were also 29-20 last year. I'll forgive you if you don't remember that, because
I remember
they beat up the Reds and then they died.
They had like a 9-game winning streak at that point or something.
Yeah, by late May they were in great shape, and then they were absolutely not in great shape. So hey, seasons are long, but 15-7, not a terrible place to be. The offense, though, is by and large looked like the 2023 offense as of late, unless Soto is doing something spectacular. So that means close games, and that means you have the chance to get beat by Ben Rortvedt 2 days in a row. Luckily, his liner off the bat up 5-4 yesterday settled in Soto's glove. Otherwise, I am not doing this podcast. I am dead. I am a dead guy if Ben Rortvedt ties or beats us twice, because Rortvedt singled in the second run in extras on Saturday. We've seen a lot of former Yankees come back to haunt the Yankees, obviously. Most of them have not had like fantastic careers, and it's just been shining moments, right? Of Brett, they're here and they're good, and they leave and they're bad. JP Sears is in here today dominating us. He's been good, though. He was solid with the Yankees. He's been solid with the A's. It's very annoying, but it is what it is. Rortvedt didn't put up a solid swing in a year and a half with the Yankees. He played 4 games because his fragile bone structure prevented him from being on the active roster over and over again. He used to tweak muscles by blinking. Garrett Cole screaming at him was his biggest contribution. Now he's a .350 hitting catcher with the Rays. He's taking perfect swings. He's inside outing fastballs and lining them into left field in clutch situations.
Yep.
Lining them into right field. I can't deal with this. If the Rays have a franchise catcher just as our 5th catcher that we just have to shuck off the roster, it's unbelievable. And I can't call it sustainable yet, and I'm not seeing power yet. But where was this? Where was a sliver of this? Where was a whiff of this?
It's crazy. It encapsulates everything, and that's been wrong with this team. And this has to be one of the more cosmic occurrences of just absolute shit luck, because you're not going to tell me that the Rays revamped this fucking approach at the plate.
Traded for him the day before opening day.
Yeah, after 4 weeks? No, this is just bullshit. And obviously, I know that there is the factor of you go from New York, where his tenure got off to a bad start, so there was a lot of pressure and there was a lot of critique at that point, because it was like he was that third piece, and there was belief that it would be really good catching depth with especially from the left side of the plate, with which the Yankees badly needed. And then he just never showed up and was never a guy. But man, really difficult to see this now, because he's a completely different player. Didn't exist for his 2 years in pinstripes, and then or 3 years, right? He was here. No, 2 years. He got here right before the 2022 season with Josh Donaldson. Yes. Didn't exist. We wrote an article about whether or not he existed. I remember that from you. That was good stuff. Yeah. And now he's here. Yeah, he's the modern day version of Pete Rose at this point. It's just ridiculous. What are we at? Moment you almost shit yourself? I think so. Every time he stepped to the plate, I felt like I wanted to shit myself for different reasons. But man, that line drive off the bat of Curtis Mead after the Luke Weaver error, because then in 2 innings later, or whatever it was, Ahmed Rosario seemingly hit the same exact ball. It was the same exact shot to the left center field gap. And I was like, this is a bases clearing double. We're fucking done. Any momentum we have is absolutely done. Thankfully, Verdugo was there to catch it. But the second it hit the bat, I was about to lose my mind.
I lost my mind plenty, again, for a series that they did win, but there wasn't really much. The Soto home run was really the only joyful moment of the entire series, because the rest was just holding on for dear life. And so I wanted to, look, this deserves this. Even though it's a series win, it deserves an LVP. This is not the player I'm angriest at. I'm not even angry at the player. I'm angry at the situation. Anthony Volpe is ice cold. He did get a big hit, tie-breaking hit in the first game. Got a hit today. Good for him. I'm not angry at him at all. I am angry at Aaron Boone for choosing to lead him off when he let him off, or whoever decided to do that at that exact moment in time. He's not letting it affect his defense. He's still been rock solid. He was always due to come down from his ridiculous heights of hitting 380 or whatnot, but he's already down under 300 a week later. And it didn't start immediately when he became the leadoff hitter. He had a great series in Cleveland and then went to Toronto and went ice cold. We have proof of concept now that he can dominate MLB. the first couple weeks are something we never saw last year. Last year, we didn't have proof of concept. I was truly like, I don't know if this guy can play baseball, and he's given me no hints that he can. This year, I've already seen enough to know when he's clicking, he can be an all-star level baseball player. I know that now.
Of course.
But putting him in the leadoff spot, when you put him in the leadoff spot, when the team was like 9-2 or 10-2 when you did it, all it does is invite hot takes about his readiness. All it does is invite hot takes about you wrecked a good thing when you didn't have to. And now, luckily, the bottom of the order is still hot, too. Volpe far from the biggest problem on this team. That would be Aaron Judge, and that would be Gleyber Torres right behind him. But it would just be nice if we could have kept a good thing working, kept a great hitter in the seventh hole, and it would be nice if he was still hitting 320 early in the season instead of going through like a 1-for-21 or 22 slump, which he's currently embroiled in. Again, got that hit today. So I don't blame him. You're going to go through ups and downs, and I'm no longer sitting here being like, I don't know if Anthony Volpe's a big leaguer. I know he is. I've seen it. I just saw it. But we set him up to be part of to get the discourse target on him, and now he's got it. And if not for Aaron Judge's struggles, it'd probably be a bigger deal. But that he was the player who frustrated me the most this weekend, just because it felt like he was set up to fail. And he put up a 4K game in Toronto, and he just got that big hit in the opener here and resumed not hitting afterward.
Yeah, that's tough, man. Look, we saw this coming, and we even defended the move because we said if this was last year and Anthony Volpe was doing that and you didn't move him to the leadoff spot, you'd be like, what are you, an idiot? Like, this team needs an offensive infusion. But this time around, like, the offense didn't really need an infusion, and we did have a good thing going. But then again, another injury fucked this up. Like, DJ LeMahieu just should have been there, and he's not. And I mean, maybe my next step would have been to say, fuck it, I'll throw Alex Verdugo in there just to see what the deal is. Because he has the experience and he's a left-handed bat, which definitely helps. But Volpe's the move, and I think we're seeing the unfortunate results. But yeah, hopefully he catches it back on. The player I was most mad at, I didn't really land on one because I didn't know who frustrated me the most. I was frustrated with Rizzo last week. I can't really use him again. The team actually hit with runners in scoring position 6 for 21 this series, which I'll take. I know there were some moments where you wish they cashed in, but again, you're not going to cash in every single time. I might not go with player. I might kind of combine these next two that we're doing. And like my most surprising moment and what I'm mad at is like, why didn't Aaron Judge get an off day? Mm-hmm. Is that a hot take? Like, I know we always rail against off days, right? We're always like, why are we resting this person? Usually, though, the person is being rested in the midst of a hot streak. We are in what? It's either 17 games in 17 games or 18 games in 18 days. I don't know what I just said, but either way, it's 17 and 17, 18 and 18.
I think it's 17,
Yeah. And Aaron Judge is still not good, and he's still playing every day. And the Rays probably, of almost any team, know how to pitch around Aaron Judge better than anybody. That's, with the way that they have been able to neutralize the Yankees over the last 6-7 years, the Rays have kind of been the bane of our existence in more ways than one. This is not one of these games you're going to rest him. I understand you took him off his feet for one of them to play DH, but I think he needs an off day. And outside of needing a mental off day, he's going to need a physical off day, multiple of them over this stretch, because it's 17 games in 17 days. There is something up with him. We still don't know what it is. We do know something is up. We'll find out at a later date, folks. Don't you worry. Yeah. I'm not reporting that. We're just speculating on that.
No, we just know it has to be.
No, this is how it goes. He was battling mid-spring bang up, which is not a thing.
Not real.
Yeah, no off day. Am I mad at Aaron Boone right now? Like, again, hands tied with the bullpen, but maybe could have managed it a tad better. And then no day off for Aaron Judge when he got booed by the Yankee Stadium crowd, which, again, I don't agree with it, but it's the reality. The guy is playing. He's arguably the worst hitter on the team right now. There's going to be consequences for that. And you rest Giancarlo Stanton one of these days, who's just been DHing and has kind of been swinging a really good bat. So that's where I took issue.
It was just slider low and away. They're pitching Judge like he's a rookie, and it was working. Like we need him to. I'm not saying like, hey, clear his head. He's going to immediately be a dominant force when he returns from an off day. But if you're ever going to give him an off day, do it now. The Aaron Judge discourse is never going to be fun. Whenever he has an off day, fans are going to be like, "Where's Judge? Where's Judge? Where's Judge?" And then Boone will say, "We just need to give him a day. Haven't you seen his recent at bats?" And fans will go, "I don't believe you." Like, there's just no winning. But if you don't give him that off day, then he's just going to continue to recede. I'm sure he wants to just play himself out of it, but there's something bothering right now that's preventing him from doing that. It's not like he doesn't have the skills. We saw him hit the home run in Cleveland, right? Now he can't catch up to 92 down the middle against the lefty, Sears, today. So slow, and slower away. It's fooling him every time. He's swinging out of his shoes with pitches that he would usually be spitting on to go get something over the zone. So it doesn't make much sense, and it needs to be dealt with somehow. Judge and Torres, the two best hitters on the team last year, are the two worst hitters on this current roster. And they're 15-7. That's why it's nuts. Like, I can only read so many tweets from people who's like, open your eyes. Haven't you seen the offense? It's not good. I know, I'm well aware. It actually hasn't been very good lately, but their two best hitters from last year have been their worst hitters, and they're 15-7. That should encourage you. Anything. Now it doesn't. Nobody ever gets encouraged by the New York Yankees. And so every time I try to defend them, they have a terrible game and make me look stupid, but it's where I'm at right now. Like, if you think Aaron Judge is going to be the worst hitter on the team and his toe strength has just been permanently sapped, even though when he came back from the toe injury last year, he was really good. Look, if you want to believe that Aaron Judge is just never going to be the same again, you can. I can't convince you otherwise, because the data right now is that he's terrible. But last year, he was, in fact, very good after coming back from the toe injury. So fans on Twitter being like, should have gotten the surgery is my favorite. What surgery? It wasn't on the table.
Said that for a while, though.
Should have had an elective surgery. Okay, great. I mean, look, I
made up a new surgery.
Yeah, should have gotten that toe cut off. I wish there is an easy surgical procedure that could have resolved this, but that's why it's such a. I'm just annoyed at the Dodger Stadium wall. Still, I'm not annoyed at Judge. I'm not annoyed. Judge, I don't think, declined a surgery. But I am annoyed as hell that we have to deal with this. Like, I can't believe that this is a problem that we have, but it is. I mean, most surprising moment of the series, yours.
I did have one. I forgot, so we're good here.
Yeah, okay, good. I mean, I did mine earlier as well. It was Gonzalez getting the #1 hitter against lefties since 2022, Harold Ramirez, on a soft little chopper to the mound, which he then kicked into oblivion and then fielded and then flew like Superman to first base and got the out. For me, that was just stunning. I think Talking Jake tweeted that a Randy Arozarena pickoff is probably our best chance to win. And I agree. Once Randy gets on, odds are very high that game gets tied. And once Harold Ramirez is poking those slow breakers just off the plate outside foul, then you're like, all right, I mean, you're not getting him. Like, either he lines directly to somebody, which I guess you can pray for that, or, you know, good stuff happens. It's probably going to be bad stuff. And it ended up being a as close to a miracle as you're going to get. But once you're out,
unreal. Really tough for him right now. If the Rays don't make the amount of outs that they did on the base paths this weekend, if they weren't the dumber team, we'd be in trouble. My most surprising moment, which I don't know why I'm realizing this now, but I had it written down, but I forgot about it. This Saturday lineup for the Sterling game. Hello? Anybody home? McFly? You're facing the Rays' best pitcher. It's supposed to be an energetic day to honor, a Yankees legend in his own right. You are riding the high of that Friday victory, which was absolutely massive.
It was great.
Giancarlo Stanton's not playing in this game. Gleyber Torres is benched, which I'm fine with in theory and doing. But your lineup is Anthony Volpe, who is on a massive slide. Juan Soto, constant. Aaron Judge, also a constant, but again, needs a day off at some point. Don't think Saturday was the day, but he's still there. You move Anthony Rizzo to the cleanup spot, and Anthony Rizzo, once again, lost for the most part. He had the big hit on Sunday, I believe it was. You move Verdugo up to 5. Trent Grisham is 6. Oswaldo Cabrera 7th, which I think is good. And then you have Jahmai Jones and Austin Wells at the bottom of the lineup. Again, against the Rays' best pitcher. So you sub out Giancarlo Stanton, you sub out Gleyber Torres. The really the thing that I disagree with most is subbing out Stanton because he's been really good. I think he's been really good for, I guess, what we're hoping to expect of him. I don't think he's an all-star player anymore, but he has a fearsome presence at the plate at times, and when he is hot, you simply need to ride with that hand. I don't agree with this lineup for what should have been a go kick their ass game in front of a sellout home crowd on a Saturday to honor John Sterling. I couldn't believe that this was the case, and then that having it be 0-0 going into extra innings really shouldn't have been surprising to anybody, and then it leaves you essentially left yourself once again to play chess with the pitching staff, which is getting harder and harder to do because starters are not going deep into games. And then, of course, what happens? Starter goes deep in the game for this one, and you go to extras because you fucking took your offense away and you got the loss. So, again, it's early in the season. I don't think this is a death knell, but managerial stuff. It's like, why is this the move? Rest everybody on win Saturday, rest everybody on Sunday. No one's going to be crying about that.
And Jahmai Jones at one point was up late in the game with, I believe, a runner on, but if not, it was at least getting to late in the game, and Gleyber Torres didn't pinch hit, which tells you all you need to know about the way that they view Gleyber Torres at this point in time. I think I'm pretty angry about the Yankees and Yankees baseball often. If Aaron Judge is the worst player on the team all year, then they're not going to be very good. Spoiler. Like, I can't believe that he just is going to be one of the worst players on the team. If he is, they're bad. If he is, the season is over. It is what it is, right? If he is, the season is over. But I can't sit here and be like, you know who I think is bad forever now? Aaron Judge. And if he is, the team's not very good. It is what it is. I mean, one thing you might have missed this weekend, simple for me, but Gleyber Torres just pounded a baseball into his foot and then couldn't get up for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was great.
Is anybody else doing this? DJ LeMahieu did this in spring training. Are the A's the only team that doesn't know how to control the bat to the point where foul ball is in on your inner ankle? Like, this is now an epidemic. I'm scared whenever a pitcher comes inside on the New York Yankees that they're going to find a way to hit their own soft tissue or perhaps bone right above the foot. This team has more injured feet than any other team in Major League Baseball, I presume. So clean that up. And on a positive note, Spencer Jones, first minor league baseball home run of the year. Saturday went 3 for 4. Last time we talked about Spencer Jones, it was an injury concern. He was out with a stiff neck for the first week of the season. So rare positive news on the farm. Spencer Jones goes yard, launches one, looks really good yesterday. So he's finding his swing. Every rep is important for him. Him getting hurt, not good. Him playing, very good. So yeah, let's get those reps in. Don't expect to see him this year, but huge for the team's future. What about you?
Spence goes yard. Maybe he wants to come on the podcast.
I would take him. Although, again, did you watch that video of the Somerset Patriots doing their John Sterling home run calls? Because
I did not watch it. I have it booked. I have it bookmarked.
Well, be aware that nobody has less Riz than Spencer Jones. Everybody else is doing 20% John Sterling impressions, and Spencer Jones is reading it like he does not know who John Sterling is and has just been handed a tax form.
Oh.
Swung on and driven deep. Now, Jones has gone to the Temple of Boom.
Spencer, we'll have you to do some John Sterling impressions.
You're going to have to work on that. We'd love to have you on the show because we all
yourself. Yeah, Adam's a great impressionist. He'll help you with it. Come on down.
We both do like 35% Sterlings, and he's just going, it's way gone. There it goes.
That one's out of here.
That one actually is gone.
Oh, what did we miss over the weekend? I'm going to be positive, too. Brian Cashman pops on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM. If you don't have it, get a subscription. We are not sponsored by them, but I like MLB Network Radio, so I'll drop a free ad there for them. Popped on there to talk about the start of Juan Soto's career in pinstripes, or I guess the season that the Yankees have Juan Soto for, because Brian Cashman is still talking about this very smartly and is alluding to the fact that Juan Soto is going to hit free agency, and that's the reality, and that's what they're going to have to deal with. Mm-hmm. However, the way that he talked about him, in my opinion, was very positive in terms of a long-term pact between the two sides. Cashman usually is not very revealing. He's not very outspoken. He's not very descriptive about players, about performances, about any inner dealings. You know how this entire Yankees organization speaks. They're vague. They tell you something that you know is not happening. They're misleading. They're very secretive. But he was very open about Juan Soto. He said that Soto's very open and engaging. He's a very open and engaging personality as a player, as somebody in the clubhouse, as somebody who interacts with fans. He said that the liveliness openly has made a difference with the Yankees team in terms of, bringing up the energy and getting everybody involved and, I guess, staying on top of task. The clip's all over social, so you can go listen to it. But I thought that was nice and pretty awesome because, again, Juan Soto's been a Yankee as a player for 3-4 weeks now. And the fact that Brian Cashman's coming out this early to speak this highly of him, especially because what's the Yankees' problem been outside of a million other things? The main problem for the Yankees that we have talked about ad nauseum was the lack of energy, the lack of liveliness, the lack of spirit, the lack of fight. And that's fallen on the front office a lot, right? Because they acquire the same personalities, they have the same robots, throughout the organization. And it's even worse when they're on the field and they're the players, because the what needs to be elicited from the competitors needs to be the strongest form of emotion, and the Yankees have not had that. And this is no shot at Aaron Judge, at Giancarlo Stanton, at Garrett Cole, but these are the long-term Yankees, and they're not really expressive personalities. They don't really energize players around them. I think they more lead by example in terms of their presence and their baseball knowledge and the way that they handle themselves maturely and kind of admirably, but they are not, they don't wear their emotions on their sleeve. Their energy is not contagious, I don't think, in my opinion. And there is evidence for that because they've all been with this team for at least 4 or 5 years. And the steps that this organization has taken back has been noticeable. Brian Cashman's essentially saying Juan Soto is the missing piece, which is kind of ridiculous to say because Juan Soto shouldn't be a missing. I mean, in theory, he is the missing piece for every team because he's the best player in baseball. But that glowing review has me believing that the Yankees are going to be front of the line with whatever potential contract extension comes November. And hopefully they're going to be the first ones to get a crack at Soto, and they'll be the last ones to get a crack if he goes out and he explores and he gets more money. So bravo to Brian Cashman, giving us some details there, expressing some personality, and we got something to work with. So thanks, man.
I love you being positive on that, too, because the Ben Yoles of the world hear him say, hey, we're hoping to have him for a long time, but we're excited to watch him in the short term. And they're like, short term, Brian Cashman's a cheap little gnome. Like the dumbest people on the internet will hear anybody. Juan Soto is going to free agency. I'm sorry, he is. And then hopefully at the end of it, he returns to the New York Yankees. We're going to pay him a lot of money. Is he going to sign with the Yankees? I can't guarantee it. No. Are the Yankees going to give him a $300 million offer and then Steve Cohen offers $600 million? No, absolutely not. That will not be happening. Could the Mets outbid the Yankees? Maybe by a little bit. Are the Yankees going to offer $200 million in Cole's cash? No. The dumbest discourse. So go enjoy. The Mets are red hot right now, by the way, Mets people. If you want to enjoy some Mets baseball, they've been pretty good. Went out to LA, beat up on Yamamoto. So, you could be enjoying some Mets baseball instead of fantasizing about Juan Soto and the Yankees being cheap and whatever delusions you want to invite into your brain. If you want to relax with a CBD gummy and dream about a player who may sign a life-altering contract next year, then
is Ben Yole?
Best of luck to you. I don't know who Ben Yole is. I just know that too many people are sending me Ben Yole's.
That's Twitter beat writer. See, this is the problem with fucking Twitter. He just buys a check mark. He has I mean, look, I have barely 1,000 followers, so I can't criticize, but he's got 4,800 followers. He's in West Palm Beach, Florida. Of course it is. Mets, Giants, Lakers, and LeBron fan.
Lakers?
He used to work for MLB, apparently, but, I mean.
So he says.
What do you do? He dropped coffee a bunch of times, and they fucking fired him. Baseball expert. So, yeah, it's unfortunate that these things come across the feed now. But like I said, they're the way that Twitter is now constructed, it's to do this. It's to put the dumb shit in front of you and to make you forget about all the other cool stuff you're trying to keep track of.
Where was the tweet when Steve Cohen wussed out and paying Carlos Correa money? Remember when he was like, I'm a big man.
Yet. He wasn't a baseball expert yet.
He was still working at MLB, so he couldn't share his opinion. mean, remember, I'm a big man. The Giants don't want Carlos Correa. I don't care about his ankle at all. I'll pay him whatever it takes. What's that? The ankle's actually kind of maybe not great. Oh, I'm going to Aruba. You'll never hear from me again.
Well, he had a good take on the Aaron Judge ejection. Quote, 0% chance I'm leaving the dugout if they eject me for this. All right, then.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, you have to. They actually take you out of the dugout.
You'll never be a manager of a little league team.
I think Ben Yole is in line for a managerial opening. But then does he want to work for MLB again? Is he blacklisted? It's a good question. It was a solid series, all things considered. No Yankee fan feels thrilled about this team right now. I'm going to be just perfectly honest, though, for the New Yorkers, for the Knicks, for the Rangers fans out there. I hate how wired my brain is towards Yankee baseball. The Yankees ultimately played one game of 162 on Saturday.
Yeah.
You want to beat the Rays. You want to beat the Rays as much as possible. And guess what? They beat them twice. They took the series. The Rays look weird. There's a couple guys in the lineup that can do damage in Yandy and Arozarena and Ramirez against lefties, but most of the Rays look pretty discombobulated. Pete Fairbanks on the IL. The pitching staff isn't what it used to be. They took Aaron Savali to the woodshed in the 5th inning yesterday. And still, the Knicks are winning a playoff game and ultimately close it out in exciting fashion. And my brain is still like, I wish the Yankees had won that first game, though. Then the Rangers are about to play a playoff game yesterday, and I'm on the edge of my seat watching Victor Gonzalez. I don't know how anybody does this. I guess this is what being an elite sports city is. You got your 2 winter teams in the playoffs as the summer is almost upon us and we're in the heart of spring. And the New York Yankees and New York Mets, if that's your thing, are playing pretty meaningful baseball, and they're playing well, and they're winning key series against the Rays and Dodgers. And still my brain is fixated on that one stupid Yankee game on Saturday instead of reveling in the Knicks. In the moment, I was pumped about the Knicks win. But did the Yankees losing one game ruin a 4-hour chunk of my Saturday? Absolutely. And there's a lot of medication ads on during these games. Is one of those medications for that? Is there something you can take for your unhealthy obsession with relatively, all things considered, meaningless regular season baseball? And then you go on Twitter and say that once. You're like, a playoff game can't steal my attention from a Yankees regular season game. And you get somebody being like, actually, April baseball is relatively meaningful. You could lose the division by 1 game. I know. I am well aware. But ultimately, 4 games out of a 7, best 4 of 7 playoff series is actually a little bit more impactful in the moment than one regular season Yankees game. And yet my brain cannot convince me otherwise. It's very unfortunate. It's living in this skin is tough. Well,
yeah. And anytime you have a performance like you did on Saturday, it's just demoralizing. It's hard to forget about. If they lost 8-7 in extras, sure. They lost 2-0 in extras after not scoring a run and wasting one of the best starting pitching performances they've had all year, which they've been dying to have because of all their staff problems. Sports is eternally a fucking problem. There shouldn't be this many sports overlapping each other at once. Like, the NBA season's going to bleed into June, the end of June, the 3rd week of June. Why? Why can't we figure this out? It's overload, it's content overload. I don't like it. I'm sure people disagree with that, which is fine. But I like to watch everything, and I feel like I don't have the opportunity to do so because you have the points in time where you have to pick and choose, and it doesn't feel right. It feels like everything should be seasonal, and there should be a less of a look. They got to cut the NBA season down, I think, and they got to cut the MLB season down. I don't think cutting the MLB season down is a hot take anyway. I think you start it mid-April because it's fucking cold and rainy in the first 3 weeks of the season anyway on all the East Coast, the East Coast and the Midwestern states. Started April 15th, ended September 15th, playoffs, whatever. It's going to overlap with the NFL season. I guess that's what we can avoid. But I feel like it's very easy to avoid overlap with the NBA and the NHL playoffs. That should be done May 1st.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the Celtics have...
Make me commissioner.
The Celtics are the number 1 seed in the East, so presumably they have the easiest path because they are the best team. They played at 1 o'clock on Sunday against Miami. They play their next game Wednesday night. Who is that for? They're not traveling. They're staying at home playing
They
2
always
games.
do this. The NBA schedule always does this. There's 3-4 days off in the middle of after the first game of the series. It's for fucking money. It's all for money.
That's the worst I've ever seen, though.
That actually is, yeah.
Give me a break with that. This is going to be a 4-game sweep. We got to drag it out as long as possible. I guess we have to drag it out so the Celtics stay fresh because their opponent is presumably not going to run over the Heat with a pile driver. So we'll see. But yeah, I was struggling this week, and I will continue struggling throughout the week because the New York teams are up 1-0 in both their series and are going to play more playoff games, and the Yankees can't hit for shit, unfortunately. That's it. Thank you for joining us today. We were at 0-0 when we started. We're at 0-0 now, but we appreciate your time with us on the live stream. 2:00 every Monday, every Thursday, and on all podcast platforms, whichever one you use, we're going to be there. So please look for us. We've been getting some good feedback lately. A guy on Twitter, before we all quit Twitter, said we're his favorite podcast and everybody should trust him. So guess what? That feels good because there's a lot of podcasts. So if you like ours, then great. I'm not even sure if we're my favorite podcast, but I do like being on the podcast.
Yeah.
No, I think we are. I think we're my favorite podcast. And then it's probably a comedy podcast. I like Doughboys a lot, but I like our podcast better than that. I'm Adam Weiner. If you want to compliment us on Twitter, or if you want to do the opposite of that and make our lives a little bit miserable, you can find us as well. I'm at Adam Weiner. Thomas Carinante, where can the people find you?
At Tommy's_takes. We are both at the official Yanks Go Yard Twitter account at Yanks Go Yard FS. Hit us up. Let's have some fun. Head on over to yanksgoyard.com. All the content is there for you. We appreciate you guys reading, tuning in, and having a good old time with us. Enjoy the rest of this week. Oakland A's should be a series win. Hopefully not as agonizing, but I don't know. I can't predict it all. So we'll talk to you again on Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern live right here. Let's go Yanks.
The A's have some arms in the rotation. The A's have some arms in the bullpen. The Yankees needed a one-hit shutout from Carlos Rodon to even be in this game right now. So if you're frustrated, I get it. Me too. But we'll see you on Thursday before game 4 of a 4-game set to wrap up what we've seen so far. For Thomas Carinante, I'm Adam Weinrib. Take care.